What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to show how to get a girl to invest and get a conversation going even when she's not giving you much to work with. So investment is actually more straightforward than a lot of people make it out to be. It comes down primarily to two things: value and relevance. For example, if a high value guy like Leonardo DiCaprio is talking to a girl about something that she's really passionate about, then her level of investment is going to be through the roof. On the end of the spectrum, if a low value guy like someone who's homeless is talking to her about something that she doesn't give a shit about, then her level of investment is going to be non-existent. And of course, there's a lot of in-betweens here. For example, someone she finds really attractive, someone who's high value in her mind, could be talking to her about the most boring shit, and she'll invest in the conversation a little bit because she likes the guy, but not nearly as much as she would have invested if it was something that was relevant to her. And of course, a low value guy or someone who she thinks is low value could be talking to her about something that's super relevant, and she'll also invest in the conversation, but not as much as she would have invested if she found that guy attractive. So this means primarily two things. First off, you want to keep your perceived value as high as possible. Now, it's important to keep in mind that value is not set in stone. It can actually drastically change based on your behavior and just what the girl learns about you. For example, you could start off being an 8 in her mind, and then you start doing some needy shit, saying dumb shit, and then you go from an 8 to like a fucking 2. It can happen over time. Similarly, you could start off being a 6 and, keeping the conversation very relevant to her, and you throw in some subtle DHVs, she learns some cool shit about you, and you go from being a 6 to being a 7.5. So your value can definitely change. It's much easier for her to go down than for it to go up, but it can happen either direction. The other end of the equation is keeping the conversation very relevant to her. So the mistake a lot of guys will make is they'll go on a date and they'll just talk about themselves, or they'll talk about cars, or something the girl just doesn't give a shit about, and eventually, her level of investment keeps dropping off and dropping off. What you want to do, again, is keep the conversation very relevant to her, talk about shit that she's into, or talk about shit that's going on around you, or shit that involves the both of you, basically anything that is relevant to her current state. And if you do that, you'll get investment, and you'll get a lot of it. All right, next let's take a look at a few examples where I was able to get a girl who wasn't giving me much invested over text. So first up, we got Sexy Carla. This was the girl who was in my last video, and we actually met on Tinder. I opened her with the classic Hola Linda, and she says, hey. So, a fairly low investment text. I say sexy tattoos, obviously because she has a lot of tattoos, and she says thank you. So far this conversation is pretty basic, she's really not investing that much energy into it. So I know that, because she has a lot of tattoos, that's something that's very relevant to her, something that she's probably passionate about. And I know that people who have a lot of tattoos typically stop counting at a point. So I use that information to ask this: are you at the point where you don't count anymore? And she says, I'll count if someone asks me, but I always forget the answer. The more the merrier. She says, I definitely want more. So this tattoo topic is very relevant to her, but it wouldn't have been relevant at all to a girl who doesn't have any tattoos and doesn't give a shit about them. So it's all, what's relevant is not universal, depends on the audience. I say, yeah, I feel that, just got one 2 weeks ago. She says, what'd you get? I say, a dragon with a crown in its mouth. She says, does it mean anything? I say, yeah, something dear to my heart. So, I'm kind of baiting her here. We got a conversation going. It's still not that invested, but I'm kind of baiting her into getting more investment. She says, do you want to share? I say, Game of Thrones. I'm secretly a nerd. That's true. And she says, ooh, that's hot. Now you might think, oh, you said you're a nerd. That's kind of a low value thing. But if you're saying that you're a nerd, it actually sounds high value because you're owning it, and you're like, yeah, I'm like a cool nerd. So in this situation, it's actually more of high value just because it's the way I said it. I say, haha, is that one of your turnouts? Now again, what I do here is I take a conversation that's pretty innocent and turn it into something sexual by doing a smooth, progressive way. And also keep in mind, I'm talking about her. Is that one of your turn-ons? I'm not talking about my turns, I'm talking about her. So she says, not necessarily, I just can be nerdy too. I never watched Game of Thrones though, I want to, is it on Hulu? So this is the most investment that she's given me so far. And this is good information because I know that she responds positively to sexual innuendos. So I say, I do like me a sexy nerd, so I just use this information to qualify her. I'm not gonna talk about fucking Hulu and shit. Now that we got, the sexual topic going, I'm gonna build on that. She says, I like Harry Potter and Marvel, so she's qualifying herself a little bit more. We're on the right track. I say, cool, I read all the Harry Potter books when I was younger. And it doesn't work. She probably doesn't give a shit about Harry Potter anymore, and so she doesn't respond. Probably no longer relevant to her, was at one point. So I say, do you like wine? And she says, I love wine. I say, good, we should split a bottle sometime soon. She says, super down. Where do you live? I tell her my area, and she says, I'm free today. So this was one of those situations where the girl was just DTF that moment. Unfortunately, I couldn't meet up with her that day. It would have been probably a lot easier if I could have. So I say, I can't today, going to a birthday party. How about Monday or Tuesday evening? She says, unfortunately, I don't know when I'll be free again. Probably not soon. Uh-oh. I say, that's going to make our love a bit harder. She says, I know, me being a mom and all. Yeah, she was a MILF. So I say, you're fucking sexy for a mom. Again, relevant to her. So here I carry on with the whole MILF thing. Again, because she's a mom, MILF jokes are going to be relevant to her. If this was a girl who has no kids, then probably wouldn't make any sense. So I say, even moms need to have fun. She says, especially moms. Again, talking about her. I'm not talking about myself. She says, yes, I'll have the wine and massage oil ready. She says, and cuddles. So what I'm doing here is I'm painting the fantasy in her mind of what our hangout is going to look like. I say, of course. She says, food, what's your favorite? I'm going to lay in bed all day and order the type of food. So again, what I'm doing here is the we frame, planning our future date, which is very relevant to the girl. I say whipped cream and strawberries should fit nicely with our evening. So I keep them going, painting the image. She says, oh, I was thinking like wings, but that's fine too. Such a mom answer. I say, yes, now we just need to find a night that works for both of us. She says, I could be free this weekend, maybe perhaps, like Saturday. I say, yeah, that would work. And she says, what side are you on? So this is actually a pretty good question because she's asking me questions. So now she's screening me. She's interested enough. She's like, okay, this guy has potential. I just want to make sure that, all the gears fit. I say, south side of Brickell. I purposely misinterpret her question. And she says, no, I mean politics. And I say, oh, I don't really give a shit about politics, but generally I'm Team Bernie also, because I saw that she was, was a Bernie supporter in her bio. And in case you're wondering, I do kind of like Bernie, so that's that. She says, okay, good. I do give a shit, so it's important to me. What's your Instagram? So I give her my Instagram. And then after that, she doesn't respond. So I double text her, following each other on Instagram. Guess things are getting pretty serious. Again, following each other. So it's not just, I'm doing this, it's we are doing. She says, I can't tell if you're being serious or not, but I send you a DM on there. It's just easier. Always look over Tinder messages. I get a million. Now, I'm not a big fan of trying to do things over Instagram DMs. I prefer to just do it over text. So when she says that, I'm like, okay, I'm going to transition this to text. So I say, I'm not, but I don't use Instagram that much. Do you have WhatsApp? She says, oh, I do not. And I say, just text me. Now, there's a lot of power in telling a girl to text you versus asking for their number, because when the girl texts you, you're building more compliance. And I find that telling a girl to text you is going to have almost the same success rate as asking for a girl's number if it's done over text, on Tinder. Now, in real life, completely different story. So she texts me, hey, it's Carla. I say, the hot mom with the tats. And then I accidentally send her I was trying to send this to another girl, my real-time location. And then she says the next day, hey, sorry, I fell asleep. I say, it's cool. How's your Monday going? She says, it's going okay, kind of busy, yours. So yeah, in the conversation, it was a little bit higher investment now, a few days have gone by. The investment has dropped a little bit, and you'll find that, investment isn't always going to be at one level, it'll just drop off over time. Not necessarily anything that you did. It's just, the girl, forgets about you, and she starts investing a little less because you're a little less relevant in her mind. So I say, good, at the gym, getting nice and fit for our date. Again, always using the we frame. It's our date. It's our this. It's our that. I'm not talking about just myself. So always keeping things relevant to her. And she says, nice, I took the stairs today. So same. Damn girl, booty must be popping. Again, her booty. She says, hell yeah, it was 3 floors. I say, imagining it now. So I remembered that, because she responded positively to the sexual innuendos. Then I'm just going to keep hammering on that. She says how out of shape I am. I'm actually pretty hot. Not to suck my own tit, and this gives me a perfect chance to throw in more sexual innuendos. I say, I don't doubt that. If you want to suck your own tit, go for it. I don't mind. She says they're pretty non-existent, so that'll have to stay a metaphor. I say, I can teach you some yoga. Again, teach you some yoga. She says, is it possible to bend that way? I can't even touch my toes. My legs are kind of long. So now she's definitely engaging a lot more in the conversation. I say, we can find out together. And she says, that's the best answer to that question. And I just sent her a winky face, and she says, do you smoke? And then just kind of continues from there. She's now asking me actively questions. She's the one that's trying to get to know me, which is the frame you want to have. And then from there, it was really just a matter of coordinating logistics and keeping the interaction warm until our schedules could line up. If you want to see the rest of those screenshots, I posted a full report with everything from start to finish in the forums. I'll link in the description below if you guys want to check it out. But the main takeaway here really is that I was able to build investment progressively over time by keeping the conversation very relevant. Talking about her, talking about the shit that she's into, or talking about us. Using the reframe can be very powerful and can solicit a lot of investment, especially if you do it right. All right, next let's take a look at another Tinder interaction that had all the same underlying principles, but was pretty different on the surface. So this was also a girl on Tinder. Opened her with the infamous "Hey trouble," and she says, "What up?" So pretty low invested answer, not much I can do with that. So I'm just gonna gather more information. I say, making dinner, how about you? And I'm hoping that she gives me something I can build on. She says, watching It's Always Sunny. Fortunately, I'm a big fan of that show, and I'm gonna use a little bit of inside humor here. So I say, Dayman, fighter of the, and if you don't watch It's Always Sunny, this is gonna make no sense. But if you're a fan of the show, this is like a big inside joke. She says, Nightman. So basically having her fill in my sentences here. I say, champion of the sun, you are ... And she says, master of karate and friendship for everyone. So this kind of humor is good in small doses, but if I do this too much, it's gonna lose its appeal fast and get very boring. So I'm not gonna keep going with this. I'm gonna change gears now. And I say, can you seductively whisper that in my ear? She says, I'll sing it. So I say, so what are you looking for on here? I used to use this question a lot, and I still think it's a pretty solid one. It's a good way of just getting the girl to kind of open up and be like, oh, I'm looking for this and this and this. So, like if you were doing sales, you'd ask, what made you interested in this product? Basically, you want to get the customer's motivations. It's the same principle here. She say, hookups lull, this is a fuck app. I can't complain too much about that answer. So I say, perfect, same here. We should get together sometime soon. And you can make the argument this was a premature close just because she wasn't giving me much to invest with. My thought at the time was, okay, she gave me she seems very DTF, so I'm just gonna kind of see if I can get, a quick meetup that night. And she doesn't respond, surprisingly not. I say, oi, and then she says, yeah, let's hook up soon. I say, you're gonna take my virginity. Again, talking about you, we frame here. She says, sorry, left my strap on at home. She has a good sense of humor. I say, you're good. Feeling naughty tonight? She says, aha, I have plans. I say, what's your schedule like this week? She says, you down next weekend, like Friday night or something? I say, Friday could work, text me. And, obviously she doesn't text me. So then I say, I re-engage 5 days later with oi. She says, yo, I'm sorry. I totally spaced because I have a friend crashing this weekend. I say, text me anyway. So why is she, really kind of dropping off? Well, it's because she's not that invested in the conversation. She has hundreds of conversations going just like this with other guys. Haven't gotten her invested yet. So as a result, my chance of getting the meetup are going to be, a lot lower. She's going to be much more likely to ghost, much more likely to flake, much more likely just to drop off. So I need to find a way to get her invested. And having her text me is a good start because, again, I'm asking her for compliance. If she's not going to do that, then the interaction is a waste of time anyway. So she says, yo, this is your Tinderella. I say, hey, what's up? Kind of mirroring her earlier answer. She says, well, I was in a minor car accident thanks to LA rain. And I also just want to quickly address, there's this misconception that, asking about the girl is like bad, it's boring, it's try hard. It's absolutely not true. You want to ask about her. Again, you don't want to do it too much, but doing that a little bit shows, first off, empathy. And second of all, people love talking about themselves. People don't really generally give a shit about you, but they do want to chat about themselves. So that's a good way to get investments, just asking them about themselves, as long as it's done in a non-try hard way. I say, damn, shit be crazy out there. She says, yeah, it's scary as fuck out there. Again, so far, everything is low investment. I say, need a hug. She says, with a girl for the moment, but otherwise I'd be down. And this gives me a good chance to throw in a sexual innuendo. I say, three-way hugs are the best. She says, I like three-ways. Now, this is really good information. I know she's not adverse to talking about anything sexual and that she's kinky, and I can use this information to finally get some investment. I say, I have a girl who would be down, and she says, yes. And then I sent her a picture of a hot girl that I was hooking up with at the time. And she says, hot, definitely down. So she fucking double texts me here, a lot of investment. I say, perfect, send me one of yourself. Again, I'm gonna use this opportunity to get even more investment. She says, not gonna lie, I kinda want her number, LOL. And she sends me a picture of her masturbating. So basically what I did here is I was able to use information that she gave me and also to DHV myself by saying, oh, I have a girl who's down. I'm not just generally saying, oh, I have a hot girl I'm fucking. No, I'm actually answering her question, and which allows me to show off, this chick, which raises my perceived value, and there's also something very relevant to her because she's into threesomes. If a girl was not into threesomes, then this would not be relevant to her at all. So again, the audience here very much applies. If you want to see the rest of the screenshots, I'll also link the link to the full R in the description below. But basically, it's a little bit more sexting. Ultimately, we made plans for a threesome. Unfortunately, the other girl dropped off, so it was just me and this girl. But still pretty fun. We had a night of pretty kinky sex. All right, next we're gonna take a look at one last interaction. This was a night game number. I wanted to throw this in for diversity's sakes. And with this girl, I also had to take a different approach. She was a lot more conservative, so going sexual over text would have definitely backfired. But you can kind of see what I did here. We also got into a pretty crazy frame battle. So got her number, we chilled for like 20, 30 minutes at a bar, and I text her Alex Gringo Guapo, which is like handsome white guy. And she just sends me like a laughing emoji. Not the answer I was hoping for, not much I can do with that. So I say, how was your big night out in my hood? Because I'm using the information she told me during our interaction that she usually doesn't go out here. And she says, it was fun. Again, very low invested answer, not much I can do with that. So I'm just gonna try to build on that and use the we frame. I say almost as fun as what I have planned for us, us, we. She says, lol, and what's that? I'm baiting her now. And I say, I'll tell you all about it over that bottle of wine. She says, haha, you live far away from me. So the objections begin. I say 30-minute drive. I think our love can survive that. She just gives me 2 laughing emojis. So kind of moving up, in terms of investment. I say, am I wrong? She says, about what? She's subtly trolling me here. I say, about us getting past this short drive. She says, you tell me. And I say, our love we can do it, my love. And she says, how do you know Spanish? So I was hoping to get that from her. And the quick side text is that she's from Peru. So, Spanish is relevant to her. If I said it to her in French, it just wouldn't really make sense. She wouldn't give a shit about that. And I was hoping that she would ask me that question because this gives me a chance to subtly DHV myself and raise my perceived value. I say lots of travel, plus my last girlfriend was Venezuelan. So 1, I get laid. 2, I travel a lot. 3, I date other Latina girls. She says, oh, you must have been with her for a long time. Spanish is a hard language to learn. Not really true. But this is the most invested text that she sent me. I say, maybe I'm just a genius. Again, I'm subtly DHVing myself. I'm saying, oh, I'm just really smart. But I'm not actually saying that. I'm just kind of joking at it, which is a much better way to get the point across in the first place. She says, you could be. I say, I guess you'll have to find out with a bottle of wine. She says, I guess we'll see. I think I already know the answer though. She's investing a little bit more, not nearly as much as I would like. I say, oh, question mark. She just sends me one of these emojis. So I was trying to bait her into more investment, but she didn't bite. I say, I'm curious to hear. You free Monday or Tuesday evening? She says, what do you want to do? I say, split a bottle of wine on my romantic balcony. And she says, haha, I think you should come to her area first. And then I don't respond right away, and she double texts me, I guess you didn't like that idea, huh? Which is a good sign, because if a girl's double texting you, it means that she's interested, she's investing, so we're on the right track here. I say, was cooking some steak, but come here this time and I'll go your way next time. So right now we're getting into a frame battle. Some of you guys might be wondering, why don't you just go to her? Well, that's because I don't want to drive to her and then I'll have no chance of pulling. I'd much rather, use the investment I have to get her to come to me, or at the very least meet halfway. So I say, I don't know you, can't go to your place yet, but if you don't want to come hang out in my area, that's okay. So here she's using a takeaway on me. So I say, I understand we don't have to go to my place if you don't feel comfortable. Can meet at a coffee shop first. So I meet her takeaway with a takeaway. Now we're getting into a frame battle over where we're gonna meet. She says, I'm down for a coffee shop over here. I send her one of these emojis. She says, well, don't be stressed. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Again, so she's using another takeaway on me. It's like some hot girl manipulation shit. So I say, zero stress. I did think you were cute and potentially intriguing, so I want to get to know you better. But if you're not interested, it's okay. So now I'm mirroring her takeaway with an even better takeaway of my own. So again, more of this frame battle. And ultimately, I know that I'm going to win if I just keep at it. She says, lol, so we can only get to know each other in Brickell. I say, lol, all right, let's meet halfway. Now notice though that even though we have a frame battle, the frame battle is about where we're going to meet. It's not about if we're going to meet. It's already established that we're going to meet. It's just about where. So either way, it's going to be a win. So then she says, what's halfway? I say, Coral Gables, lots of cool coffee shops there. She says, haha, you're a cheater. I say, oh, stop. We're going to have a great time. We have a great time. She says, fine. I say, don't get too excited now. Again, her. She says, I'm excited as you are. I say, that's good. What's your schedule like? She says, when do you want to see me? So this is a good response because now she's like, when do you want to see me? Like, I want to hang out with you. I say Monday evening. She says, want to have your weekend to party, huh? So at this point, she's like, oh, like, why can't you hang out with me this weekend? So we're on the right track. Now, this LR actually never wrote up, but we did ultimately wind up meeting up. She was pretty conservative, so it took me a few days, and ultimately we hooked up. But basically, you can see the frame here is that I built investment, using the we frame a lot. I used what was relevant to her, going sexual over text. I know would have backfired with this girl, so I didn't do that. I didn't talk about It's Always Sunny because she doesn't watch that show. I talked about, Spanish and shit, that's relevant to her. As a result, was able to build investment, get the date, and ultimately hook up with her. All right, so hopefully these examples give you a pretty good idea of how exactly you build investment. Now, if you are really curious about that last one, one, help me get to 5,000 subscribers, and I will absolutely go through the hassle of fucking getting all these screenshots and writing everything up. So make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below. And until next time.